Well, hello, school counselors and school counselors to be. Thank you guys so much for coming to my channel, The Inspiring School Counselor. And today, you guys, we're getting into part 2 on what graduate school did and didn't prepare me for as a school counselor. I am so excited to get into this, you guys. If you have not watched part 1, I highly suggest you guys go and watch that after this video, because in part 1, I really began to talk about just a list of things that I feel like graduate school didn't prepare me for, and I had to learn on the job. However, for this video, we're going to be getting into things that I feel like graduate school did prepare me for. And so I'm excited to get into this list with you guys. I do want you guys to keep in mind that I'm going to be sharing with you guys from my perspective on, how I believe graduate school prepared me. However, if there's things on this list that you feel like is not part of your list, or you want to add to, the list at all from your perspective, please put that down in the comments below, because I would love to read it, and I know others would love to read it as well. So the first thing that I have written down that I really feel like graduate school prepared me for, and that was how to build relationships with my students. Let me tell you guys, I even had a class that I think was called Helping Relations, where we really just focused on how to build relationships and how to, conversate, how to also be an active listener, summarize, paraphrase, and just enjoy conversation. Not feel like you have to rush and always say something, but also giving, time for those gaps where there's nothing being said. And so I really truly believe that it's important as a school counselor to know those skills that is necessary to build relationships with your students. And so my graduate school program really did a great job. I actually remember even doing project, I don't know if you want to call it projects, but activities where all of us classmates had to come together, pick a partner, and we had to play out scenarios, or we would make up our own scenarios, or maybe even something that really did happen. And we actually had to record ourselves, going through a whole counseling session and just practicing on building those relationships. I love that. I really love that. And also, of course, when you do internship and when you do practicum, you're getting real life experience working with students. And so they really did a good job in expressing the importance of building the relationships and also giving us that hands-on experience as well. So that is number 1 that's on my list. The second thing that I have written down is individual counseling in small groups. And this actually goes also with building relationships, especially when you're looking at individual counseling, because as you guys know, when you're doing individual counseling sessions, you want to make sure that you have some type of relationship with that student. However, actually, to be honest, there's going to be times where you might have students that's going to come into your classroom that you might not have ever talked to in your life. But it's important to build that relationship and know how to do that. My graduate school studies program did a really good job in helping us to understand the importance of the individual counseling session and the small group session, and how to run it, how to start it. I also even remember having a class, I forgot what it might have been called, groups, where we all the classmates, all of us had to sit in a circle and we all took turns running a small group. We also had to create a small group program. And so mine was focused on middle school girls, where we talked about self-esteem, and I came up with 8 sessions, and it's evidence-based and everything. And so I really love that because I was able to get hands-on experience. However, now you don't have to really worry about creating a small group. You can just go on things like Teachers Pay Teachers and other different places to kind of just get that small group and then implement it at your school. And you can tweak it however you would like. Another thing that I want to say as far as to individual counseling is they did a great job. And I might have this on my list already. In fact, I do not have this on my list, but that is okay because I'm going to add it now. I'm going to go ahead and get into the next thing, but it's going to coincide with the individual counseling. My graduate school program did a great job in introducing us to all the different theory techniques. So therapies like solution focus, play therapy, reality therapy, existential therapy, and the list can go on with the different therapies that can be used. However, when you find yourself working in a school setting, you're morely going to be doing the solution focused type of therapy. But however, I have even found myself times where I have actually integrated like the reality therapy. But I do think they did a great job in, introducing all those therapies to us and kind of allowing us to be able to understand the fact that as a school counselor, you don't really want to hone too much on one therapy. You want to use more of an integrative approach. The next thing that I have written down here is how I should keep my notes, if any are being kept. So I remember my professor really just talking about the importance of how to keep your case notes whenever you're having sessions and you're writing things down, and the importance of making sure that those are confidential, but at the same time realizing that if anybody knows that you're keeping notes on students, if it's the parents or even the courts, they can like subpoena you to go and testify, or they can use your notes. And so you want to be mindful of that. And I am going to be doing a video that's going to be talking a little bit more about that. And so, because I had someone reach out to me and ask that question. That was another thing that my professors did do a good job in, which was talking to us about how to keep our notes. So the next thing that I have written down here is how to advocate for my role as a school counselor. So my professor's done a great job in just drilling in us the importance of us knowing our role as a school counselor, and how being in the school system, some of you guys already know this, depending if you're a part of a charter school, public school, or private school, depending on the school district you're in, even it comes down to the administrator that you have, your role as a school counselor can change amongst different levels and different transitions. And so with that being said, it's important for you to know the things that you should be doing as a school counselor and the things that you should not be doing as a school counselor. And actually, I did post a video on that. And if I can find that, I will put it down in the description below so that you can also watch that after this video. And you'll also see part 1 in the description down below as well, so that you can also click on that. It's very important for you to know your role, because if you don't, then other individuals will define your role for you, and then you'll end up doing things that is not even in your job description. And so you really want to watch out for that. And I'm also going to segue into the next thing, which is my professor's done a great job in teaching us how to advocate for our students, okay, for my students. I just remember being in class, because you have students and parents that are not as educated as far as how the educational system works. And so you have to inform them. You got to let them know, what's going on with their child. And if it is that you see something wrong, you have to be the one to provide the resources and the things necessary for the students to be successful, as well as for the parents to know what's going on so that they can also be successful, because there's going to be some times where you might even have to provide resources to the parents. So you want to advocate for your students, and they did a good job in teaching me that as well. Another thing that I have written down here is importance of confidentiality. That's another thing that was really drilled in us in the program, which is confidentiality. As you all know, you're going to be having kids coming in and out of your office or your classroom. They're wanting to talk to you. There's things that they're wanting to share with you that is really personal. And so you're going to also have teachers that's going to want to get in on what the child is talking to you about. It's important for you to stand your ground as a school counselor and knowing that, hey, this is confidential and I don't have to share this with you. There's only 3 reasons why you would have to break confidentiality: either to share it with the parent, or to share it with the principal, share it with the teacher, or the SRO, depending on the situation. And so with that being said, importance of confidentiality was definitely expressed, and I'm glad that it was, because even times now I find where I'm going to be absolutely transparent with you guys that I have teachers and different ones that might come up to me that wants to know a little bit more information, and it can be easy to kind of fall into that trap. But every time you have to make sure that you just are aware of that and kind of draw yourself back, because it can be easy to get into it and it's like, man, you done spilled everything. So the next thing I have written down is my graduate studies program taught me how to give presentations. Y'all thought, listen, if you thought giving presentations stop in graduate school, trust me, y'all are in for a rude awakening, okay? just being at the school that I'm at, I have gave multiple presentations. I actually just got finished giving a presentation to the faculty and staff on trauma-informed and de-escalation strategies. But I also had to do like a child abuse training with the faculty and staff. And so there's just things that you're going to have to present. And as you guys know, giving presentations does not start in graduate school. You actually start that back in like elementary, okay? So it's something that is just, you're going to have to do and be prepared to do as a school counselor. So you want to just keep that in mind. The next thing that I have written down is getting involved in professional developments. So this was also another thing that my professors drilled into me, because they were like, look, you're a school counselor, you get the job and everything like that, but you have to continue to progress with the times. You have to continue to evolve with the times. And the only way that you're going to be able to evolve is if you are getting into these professional developments, so you can get everything that you need and know what's happening now in the school systems, what the kids are dealing with, so that you can be able to get on their level and get the right resources that is necessary to help them through whatever it is that they're experiencing and going through. And so it's important to get involved in professional developments as well. And also, you want to just polish yourself as a school counselor. There's things that I still need to brush up on and get involved in. So, professional developments is very essential. I also did a video where I gave a list of professional developments, things that you can be a part of and do. And so I will put that also down in the description below so that you guys can click on that after the video as well. And the last thing I wanted to mention in this video is that every school is different, okay? Keep that in mind. Every school is different, and it's going to be a forever learning process. Even though we want that blueprint of what our job is, what specifically we're supposed to be doing, guys, it's not going to happen when you are a school counselor. Your schedule is going to be forever changing. And so you just want to make sure that you are changing as it comes, okay? And you're able to adapt. And that is also something that my graduate studies program prepared us for as, school counselors, is to be willing to evolve and go with the change and being able to adapt. And that is something that you will find as you are a school counselor. I thank you guys so much for taking the time out to watch my video. I hope that this was able to help you guys. If you have not subscribed, once again, make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. All right, you guys, I'll see you next time.